Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Please like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, leave a little donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. Now listen, man. They caught red-handed, hand all in the cookie jar. My boy he wasn't just trying to take 1, 2 cookies, 10 cookies, 15 cookies. That man was taking everything outside the cookie bar and even eating the crumbs and somehow trying to squeeze that red head of his inside the cookie jar and lick the bottom of that shit. Canelo Alvarez played himself. Now, understand this. You can't come out here telling somebody to pay you $250 million, $200 million to fight David Benavidez. And you can't come out here now and say, when it comes to Terence Crawford, if you pay me what I want, I'll fight him. I don't really want to because he's a guy who will move around. He won't stand there and give me the best chance to get a victory because I know with Terence Crawford and his style, I'll have a tough time walking him down. I'll have a tough time getting beyond his jab. And he's not going to be stupid enough like Jaime Munguia to stand in front of me and try to exchange to where I can slip his shots because I'm an excellent inside fighter and land my big mega boom Guadalajara Jalisco uppercuts. Nah, carrot head, you done played yourself. So you want these guys to pay you essentially to lose. What y'all hear me say all the time? Man, goddamn, I feel like I got subordinates again. Learn to listen a whole lot and talk very little when you get yourself to a certain position. But you should start practicing that shit at the junior level. Canelo, you don't get no higher than what Canelo Alvarez is in boxing. This man should know by now to hold his horses, not take it to the stupid, and to listen a whole lot and talk very little. All this man had to say, yeah, I'll fight Crawford. He's an excellent champion. You know, we'll have the negotiations and we'll see where it goes. He is playing himself. It's the equivalent of Gervonta Davis saying, if Turki Al-Sheikh wants to make a fight with me, he got to send me 2 Ferraris or something before we even start talking. Or 2 Lamborghinis or whatever the hell he said. You can't come doing that. It's not going to work out. Now, the thing is, does Canelo need to fight? No, he don't need no Turki Al-Sheikh to come and make any money. Canelo Alvarez is out here making money hand over fist. I'm going to make a point, though. I think this is his last fight with PBC. Let me tell you something. Canelo Alvarez, and as far as pay-per-view numbers and all that, this is why they chose Edgar Berlanga. This is why they chose him. Because his pay-per-view numbers haven't been looking that great. Now, what I mean is he ain't doing 1 million pay-per-view buys, 1.2 pay-per-view buys. Everything is way less than that. It's not. I don't even think he's cracking 500,000. Now, in today's day and time, I mean, still what he does is respectable. But what I'm getting at, he isn't in no position where he's selling 1 million in pay-per-view buys to come out here and talk about give me 150. I mean, the shit went from 150 to 250 million for Benavidez. Now with Crawford, I figured shit. Turki Al-Sheikh wants to fight. He'll probably pay him some serious dough. But when he hear Canelo out here basically laughing, you know, and that's the worst thing Canelo could have done. He went on Sway in the morning. He should have never went on Sway in the morning. Should have never ever went on Sway in the morning. Because he got up there and started feeling himself and started taking it to the stupid, talking about the money and everything. He should have never said that, how much money he wanted. But anyway, the reason they picked Edgar Berlanga, I'm gonna tell you why I think they picked Edgar Berlanga, because they know Canelo Alvarez, as far as with PBC, this is his last fight. Then he's gonna be looking to have somebody work with him. So he wants to be able to say, hey, look, at my last performance, pay-per-view numbers wise, this is what I generated. So when he goes to negotiate a 2-fight deal, 3-fight deal, he can go in there with that. And I think it's brilliant on behalf of Canelo and his team to be looking at things that way. But at the same time, I just think, look, uh, he's been exposed with just being a guy who's cool with putting his red head and red hand inside the cookie jar and just, robbing the fans of great fights because he's like, oh, well, they're going to pay anyway. They're going to come watch anyway. I'm going to make my money anyway. He don't care no more, people. Canelo Alvarez is made up in his mind. I've already established my legacy. I've already had a bunch of big fights. And now I'm going to sit here and pick and choose easy fights for big money. You know what I mean? Very low risk, very high financial reward. And that's what he's looking to do. So when you look at him and Berlanga, the Mexico versus Puerto Rico rivalry, look, that shit doesn't even qualify for Mexico versus Puerto Rico. They were in New York. You didn't hear nobody out there, man, beating no drum, no conga, no nothing. You ain't hear none of that shit, nobody, them timbale and all that shit. There was none of that going on. None of that was going on in Puerto Rico, in New York. This ain't no real Puerto Rico versus Mexico shit. Edgar Berlanga is not Miguel Cotto. Excuse me. He ain't Miguel Cotto. He's not Felix Trinidad. Look how Berlanga talks. He's from New York. Born and raised there. He qualifies to call himself a Puerto Rican because of his parents or whatever. But he ain't from the island like that. So this ain't it. And I'm even listening. I got some partners, man. The Puerto Ricans, man. Most Caribbean people rep their flag, right? And I can tell you that because me, with my background, family from the Caribbean, we rep our flags. But when I hear Puerto Ricans saying Berlanga gonna lose, he ain't no Puerto Rican, I'm like, yo. So I don't think the pay-per-view numbers are gonna do what they're hoping it'll do. I just don't think so. Berlanga's not there. He hasn't done anything. He's not a champion. This right here is one of those kind of back against the wall type decisions to try to do something and pray to the boxing gods that the pay-per-view numbers do well and they get a good fight. But this is basically one of those low risk with the hope of a high financial reward for Canelo. Edgar Berlanga does not stand a chance. He doesn't. I don't think he stands a chance. That's my opinion. Now, of course, like I always say, the best fighter doesn't win. It's the boxer who fights the best on that night. But I'm just sitting here trying to see how Berlanga, who just basically has his right hand alone. Now, maybe he's back with his new trainer, with his old trainer, and they've been able to work through some things, and he's going to come out here and he's going to shock the world like Valenzuela did against Pitbull, right? But I'm just not seeing it. Edgar Berlanga is right hand crazy. He really doesn't have nothing outside of that. Whenever he throws if he throws a 1-2, he comes back and takes his gloves and pulls his boxing shorts down, pushes the damn cup down, right? He has a bad habit of doing that. You could time that shit and just blast his head off his shoulders. I just think he's going to get in there, man, and compromise his size, compromise his reach. And what's his name? Canelo going to put the Guadalajara, Jalisco beans on his ass. That's just my 2 cents. But going forward, I'm just not so sure Canelo going to be happy with whatever deal he can strike, whether it's with Matchroom, with Turki Al-Sheikh, if he can even work anything with Turki Al-Sheikh. I'm not so sure he's gonna be satisfied because I think he's been exposed, red-handed, with that red hair, hand all in the cookie jar, looking for the least amount of risk, highest financial reward. And he'll never fight David Benavidez. If you want me to take a risk, you got to pay me, like that man said. Listen to what this man said. $250 million. What is that? Turki Al-Sheikh out here like, oh, y'all think I'm stupid. Turki Al-Sheikh like, y'all think I'm stupid. Turki Al-Sheikh like, yo, hold your horses. But that being said, Canelo, I think he'll get through Berlanga, and we'll see what's next. As far as the Crawford-Canelo fight, Turki Al-Sheikh is trying to work on something else for Crawford. I got an opinion on that. But this video is about Canelo being exposed for being what people have suspected him of being. Well, he has a great resume. Canelo can fight. The man can fight. He's the face of boxing. You got to give him credit for that. But also, What I think this has done is kind of give us a peek behind the tent flaps of where Canelo is mentally. He ain't trying to fight no killers. Fought Caleb Plant. That was a good challenge. But Caleb Plant, he fights orthodox, but he's left-handed. So without him having to utilize his right hand for power, he doesn't get it. So once you take away his left hand, Caleb Plant is a sitting duck. Jermell Charlo, he brought him up. It sounded good, undisputed versus undisputed, but he knew. I thought Jermell would have at least tried, but I guess he felt that Guadalajara, Jalisco power. And Jermell said, "Yo, this Houstonian about to haul ass about this ring." So he ran the whole goddamn fight. And now he about to fight Berlanga. So when you look at his choice of opponents, undisputed, 168, Caleb Plant, Jermell Charlo. A lot of people didn't give Charlo a chance. Some of us thought he would because the work he put in at 154. Then coming to fight Berlanga. You know, a big guy, but super green, super unqualified. But when you look at those three fights, none of those opponents would have given Canelo, I think, the challenge of David Benavidez at 168. And I personally think this is the perfect time for Canelo to get Benavidez. But I tell you what, if David Benavidez were to fight Canelo, when he fought Gvozdyk, Benavidez he wasn't working with Heredia. He worked with Heredia for Caleb Plant and Demetrius Andrade. And you saw how David Benavidez performed, right? A whole nother level, right? It wasn't the same Benavidez that fought those previous opponents, even though he beat them. That's a different Benavidez. He fought Gvozdyk, went up in weight, didn't train with Angel Heredia, for some reason didn't look like the monster. If he were to fight Canelo, I think Canelo and his team know, he's going to pick up this Heredia guy. And it's going to be basically Juan Manuel Marquez Pacquiao 4. And Canelo may get the bing bings put on him. That being said, I got something to say about Crawford and Canelo, but I'm about to do another video right now about that. I understand this shit here. This thing about Crawford and Canelo, that fight not happening, that shit don't have nothing to do with Turkey thinking Crawford can't win. It has everything to do with saying Canelo's a greedy bitch and he ain't going to be played by Guadalajara, Jalisco's finest. Y'all keep cool, I'm in the breeze.